Hi, I'm going to share some tips for getting started with military shipping. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that you're not sending anything that can't go overseas. So there's some general restricted items, aerosols, hand sanitizer, wet wipes, like the wet wipes brand, not baby wipes. Anything that's got cleaning supplies, alcohols, chlorides in it. So things like mouthwash with alcohol in it, eyeglass wipes, the spray that you use for cleaning your eyeglasses and other things like that, Tide pens. You just want to avoid those things to reduce return packages that are non-refundable. Sometimes there's base specific restrictions that can include common things like coffee, pork products, over-the-counter meds, vitamins, supplements, and even things like meat products, which you typically think can go on care packages. So beef jerky, tuna packets, those things. So I'm going to show you how you check those, and you can check those by going to the bottom of shipthrifty.com and in the footer and going to the military restrictions link here. When you click this, it's going to open up and it's going to open up the USPS page where you can put a zip code in. And then that zip code, the first 5 digits, will tell you what's restricted at that base. So in this case, coffee is prohibited, meats, including preserved meats. So this would be beef jerky, tuna, chicken packets, those types of things are restricted here. And I believe there's also a restriction in this one for, yeah, medicines. So there's the over-the-counter meds and supplements. So this is an example of base that restricts those things. So be sure to check those out before you actually even do your customs information. Next thing I want to step through is going to be the customs information. So when you're on Ship Thrifty, you're going to have fields to fill in to provide customs details. And you want to be specific. You can't just say clothes or medicine and toiletries. Batteries can sometimes come back, even if you say alkaline batteries, like in the example here of acceptable things. So make sure you're adding enough detail. So let's give you an example. Let's say you're sending Oreo cookies and you have 2 packs. So you put 2 in the quantity, and then it's going to ask you for a unit price. So the price for each one of them. So maybe it's $3. The tools will do the multiplication to get up with your full value of your package, if you will. So from there, you're just going to continue to add the items that are in your package. And when you're done, well, if it goes over 7, a second label will come out, which is going to be a customs continuation form. And the labels show up after you've finished all your data entry and paid for that label. Then you'll be able to open that label up and print that. When you print the label, it's a good idea to do it 2 per sheet. So depending on your printer, you'll either have multiples or you'll have 2 pages per sheet in there. And that will put the labels in the standard formatting of 4x6, which is what they should be to go on the boxes. We do recommend putting the labels on the flaps and not over the seam, because the seams can rock when they go through the conveyor belts that they go through. The final tip that I'm going to give you is how to save money on care package shipping. So this is on our Ship to Military resource site, which has a ton of information for you. And I'm in the savings tips under the basic tips and information. So different ways that you can save money, avoiding bigger boxes, avoid going over 20 pounds. When you go over 20 pounds, you ended up going over what USPS prefers for a package. And it will just cost less to send 2 smaller packages if you can. So there's a good savings tip. Also, changing your boxes up. Sometimes if you're shipping online, it's going to be more expensive to do the large flat rate boxes or flat rate boxes in general. It's going to cost less to use plain boxes. They can be brown boxes or white boxes. It doesn't matter. You just want to use non-carrier branded boxes. If you have an Amazon or a Chewy box, those work well. Just try to keep the dimensions down on those. And then sometimes if you're sending multiple smaller ones to one person, you can also sometimes combine a bigger one and put more stuff in there, again, keeping it under that 20 pounds. So I hope these tips help. Down at the very bottom of shipthrifty.com, you will also see our resources. We do have videos down here and help information in the blogs. So feel free to check those out. And if you get stuck, reach out to us. We're happy to help. Thanks.